I was just on the phone with a good friend of mine, and he was telling me that he got his first vaccination shot. And he posted about it on social media, and he said to me, Jesse, you would not believe the opinions that people had. Some people were complimentary, some people were very cruel. And he said it was crazy, and I go, yeah, I know. So much of right now is crazy. And I was telling him about this recent plane trip I was on, and he said you have to share this video. So I want to preface this by saying this is not a endorsement of one choice or another. This isn't meant to be a political. This isn't meant to be anything. This is just my observation of humanity, and I thought maybe that you might enjoy just hearing it. And your thoughts are your thoughts, your opinions are your opinions. No matter what they are, I still love you just the same. Anyways, I'm on a plane trip, and I'm in the front of the plane. And the plane it's a small plane, so there's two seats on one side, there's one seat on the other side, and we have you can imagine walking through that from one aisle to another. There's less than probably 2 feet of space. Anyways, before getting on the plane, there's a guy in the terminal who won't put his mask on all the way. A couple people ask him to put his mask on, and every time he goes, lifts it up, and he says, before he says anything, he says, "Oh, I'm so sorry," and he puts it up. He's very nice, very sweet about it. And I'm watching this guy with my mask on, thinking like, what's his deal? Like, how come he can't keep the damn thing on? Anyway, so I'm judging him already, right? I'm making up all these opinions. He's crazy, he's rude, he's this, he's that, blah, blah, blah. Well, we go to get on the plane, and wouldn't you know it, who does he end up sitting next to? This guy. So we're sitting on the plane, and as we're boarding, the flight attendant says to him, "Sir, can you put your mask on?" "Oh, I'm so sorry." And of course, and he puts his mask on. But then he sits down, he pulls it right back down. And I'm trying to figure out, is this guy being rude? Is he being a jerk? Is he just really so absent-minded that he's not thinking about it? So a flight attendant comes up to him again and says, "Sir, you need to put your mask on so we can take off." And I'm thinking, oh my God, this is going to be one of those flights where we're not going to be able to take off. The plane's going to be grounded because of the mask situation. Well, the lady sits down behind him, and she says to him, she says, "Sir, I'm immunocompromised. Can you please put your mask on?" He says, "I'm so sorry," of course, puts his mask back on. Now I'm really thinking, wow, I'm looking around to see if people have their phones out, if they're getting ready to start streaming this, if this is going to be Mortal Kombat in the air, and the thing's not going to happen. Well, anyways, the plane takes off, thankfully. And then the flight attendant comes out and passes out some snacks and some drinks. And keep in mind, everybody, I'm shoulder to shoulder with this guy. He has about 18 inches of space or 20 inches of space from the aisle across, whatever that is in a plane. And, the lady who's behind him, there's a foot of space, and from where the flight attendant's at, it's all small proximity. Well, the snacks and drinks comes out, and what happens? Everybody takes their mask off. And it's not like a little where you take it off, you eat, and you put it back on. Everybody takes them off, and they leave them off. And I'm looking around watching it, and he's sitting there eating and drinking. His mask is off. The person across the aisle, his mask is completely off in his lap. He's eating and drinking. The person in front of him, mask off. The person behind them. And everybody's just eating and drinking in peace. Just in harmony. Nobody has anything to say. Nobody's mad at one another. Nobody's this or that. The guy over there, he ends up falling asleep with his off. But he still has his little cup in front of him. He still has his little snack box in front of him. And nobody says anything. The guy who's next to me, his mask is off. He's sitting there sipping. Nobody says anything. And again, I'm not saying what's right or wrong here. What I found wildly fascinating was this. That there's a moment there where we weren't labeling or judging one another. In my opinion, we were just seeing our fellow passengers, our fellow human beings, doing what human beings do, eating and drinking. It was such a normalized thing to do that we didn't have an extra layer of judgment on it. And it made me really think about this whole thing, because this last year, it has been so... I mean, I've been disgusted at some of the things I see people say to one another, and the judgments we put on one another because you believe this or you believe that, or you don't believe this or you don't believe that. And it's like we have done everything in ways, and the media has really accelerated this to just rip the humanity from us and replace the human being with a label. Right, left, anti-this, anti-that, vaxxer, anti-vaxxer, whatever it is. And if somebody doesn't believe what we believe, they're a conspiracy theorist, they're this, they're that, what happened to us all just being fucking human beings? Because the truth is in that little space, on that little plane, All you had was human beings who all arrived in this same space in life, being on the same place, but each of them had unique journeys to get there. All of them were doing the best they could with what they had, considering their life circumstances, their traumas, their belief systems, their values. They'd all gone through their own journeys and all arrived at a similar spot, but they have different belief systems. And yet, the one belief system in that moment, at least as an observer, it superseded it, which was that humans need to eat and drink, and that's okay because there was something different there. So, this is kind of a long rambling just to say we're not out of the woods yet by any means about how we're going to treat one another, whether it's around COVID or whatever is to come next. And there's an opportunity always for each of us that if we want to enhance our lives and make the world a better place, we will remove a tremendous emotional burden from ourselves if we extend the grace to another of seeing them first as a human and not a label. A human that is doing the very best with what they can in any given moment. Anyways, this video could go on and on forever. I had some really zany voices in my head about the opinions we all have, and they're really not relevant. What's relevant is this. If you're still watching, if you're still listening, you, as am I, we're humans, we've had our own journeys, and we're here at this time sharing this space together. And regardless of your opinions, your belief systems, your political affiliations, all these types of things, I just want you to know that I respect you, and I think that it's a great honor to share this time in humanity with you.